Hello, Americans. Another friend and subscribers around the world. Right here, man. So, this morning, it's a little chilly this morning. Starting to warm up. The dang wind. If it wasn't for the wind, it wouldn't be so bad. But sun's up, so I don't know what time it is. But today, I got back on this morning watching, different homeless things, man, and people, living in different things. And the one that got me back on it this morning was titled something about living in a U-Haul or homeless in a U-Haul or something like that. I can't remember. And that one helped me back down the rabbit hole and starting to go, living in whatever it's survival, man. That's, like I said, I've been there and done that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get some clips from some of these videos I've been watching this morning, and then we'll talk a little about it after we watch it.
I chose to live in a U-Haul van in Florida for 10 days. So I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, well, hell, what about a U-Haul van or a Penske van, whatever. Those U-Haul vans are $19.95 a day. So let me check on that. So I checked on it, and legit, it was $19.95 a day. So it ended up being, for the almost 10 days that I had it, $245 total.
Hey, what's up, guys? So it's like 3:30 in the morning time. Yeah, so I am living in a U-Haul truck right now. So, like, seriously, as you can see, yeah, it's like a U-Haul truck. I know some of you guys, it's nighttime, and like I said, it's almost 3:30 in the morning time. And some of you guys are in similar situations. We are in a so-called recession, and I think we still are in a recession, right? Yeah. But anyway, times are tough, to speak. And then some of you guys are struggling to pay your rent and to, step up the water. It's trying to drown you and whatever, but I know what that feels like.
Well, I'm 69 and I am retired, but I do like to put gas in my truck, so I sell jewelry and I sell rocks and anything else that I come across at flea markets. I do little flea markets, or we have one in Columbus, New Mexico. Once a month we have a little flea market, so I get some things together and sell it there. Or if they have events in the park in Columbus, then I go down there and sell my wares.
Well, it's a great home, though, and for $1,500,
I know.
Wow!
I probably put about $1,200 into it, including all the work I had done on the engine that I didn't have to do.
Right.
But which is really nothing for. And
it's nothing.
Yeah. And it's better than a motorhome as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have the maintenance factor and the,
right.
I really haven't had that much trouble with it,
Yeah, and sure, you own it outright.
That's right.
You can go take it anywhere you want.
That's right.
You got a neighbor who's too noisy, you turn the key and you drive away.
Yeah. Somebody said, I said, I'm going to get another dog. I need a company for Sadie. Well, what are you going to do that for? Because I can.
Right. You don't have a landlord
I don't have to ask my landlord.
No. You're the landlord.
That's right.
Just ask yourself,
That's right.
Is this what I want? Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, you're swell.
Yep, it's great.
It is.
When I tell people I live in a van, I think this is what they think of. What I really mean when I live in a van, I mean I live in this. Oh, and there's a dog. This is what we live in. We've got tubs. We've got a bed. We've got a bed under there for the dog to lay in. And we've got water jugs. And we got a cooler. And that, my friends, that is what I mean when I say we live in a van.
This is how I make sure my daughter stays safe, sleeping in a minivan. I'm a single mom living in my minivan by choice, and safety isn't optional. We only park at well-lit places like truck stops or hotel clusters. We never arrive after dark, and I always have 2 backup places saved. If it feels off, we leave. Van life isn't reckless. It's intentional.
This video is for anyone who's about to be homeless and considering living in their vehicle. I've come up with a list of tips that might help you navigate this lifestyle. My name is Alexis and I currently live in a minivan, but I've been living in vehicles on and off for about 4 or 5 years now. My first tip is to find out where all of the local parks are. Parks are great for a number of reasons. First of all, a lot of times they have a bathroom that you're able to use. They also have water fountains where you can fill up your water. And a lot of times just being at a park and in the midst of nature can be very relaxing and give you a sense of privacy. Not to mention a lot of them have picnic tables, grills, etc. Parks are going to be your best friend. Another tip is utilize your local libraries. Libraries are going to be a great place to get out of the elements, whether you want to warm up or cool down. They are also a really great place to charge your phone or any other electronics that you need to charge. And again, they have bathrooms and also computers and other tools that you can use. It's a great place to relax and unwind. My third tip is download the app iOverlander. This is going to be an app that tells you where safe places to park are where you won't be bothered. It will also give you useful information like where you should shower, where you can find a laundromat. There's just a bunch of really good information in that app, and overall it has made my vehicle living experience a lot easier. My next tip is to cover your windows. There are so many ways that you can cover your windows. I'm literally just using like an old rug that was given to me for free. You can use a towel, a sheet, really anything that you have. But covering your windows is definitely going to give you a sense of privacy that you absolutely need when you technically live in a fishbowl. My next tip is to buy a rechargeable fan. There are some cheap ones out there now. You don't have to get an expensive one, but when you're sleeping in a vehicle, it gets stuffy as hell in here, especially if it's not cold outside. And maybe I feel like the fan is important to me because I'm from Florida, so it's always just hot as hell. But a rechargeable fan has made living in a vehicle so much easier and so much more manageable. That little bit of airflow is really going to help you feel comfortable. And my last tip for this video is to organize and compartmentalize everything. If you're not organized, you're going to get frustrated really fast and you're going to lose everything. I still lose things in this van and I'm super organized now.
I recently got rid of everything I own, moved out of my apartment, and bought this box van from U-Haul. And I'm going to build it into my own personal off-grid RV, and I'm going to live in it.
Will the government crack down on people living in their vehicles? In some places, it's already happening, but not the way most people think. Vehicle dwelling is regulated mostly by cities and counties, not the federal government. As housing pressure rises, many cities respond with overnight parking bans and vehicle habitation ordinances. So there's a quiet shift happening. Nomads are moving toward rural areas, public and private land, and networked communities. Groups like Nomad Syndicate are forming to share information, resources, and connection. The pressure is in the cities, but there's flexibility at the edges. In a world of uneven rules, mobility is the advantage. Nomads who adapt, move, and coordinate do far better than those who stay isolated.
Part of why I share car living content is because I think within capitalism there's a lot of fear-mongering around the idea of losing your home, ending up homeless. I watched a young woman on here today that has 3 jobs, came home to an eviction notice on her door. She said in the post that she feels like she doesn't even want to live anymore. Like, what is the point? If my entire life is working 3 jobs just to afford a roof over my head, that is not living. Like, what am I doing here? And I know a lot of people feel this. It's like, what is the point of this? If we're not living, we're just working to have a place to sleep at night, and she can't even do that.
2 months living in my car and I'm not struggling. I've saved over $5 grand doing this. People hear car life and think poverty, but sometimes it's just discipline. I chose this life to get ahead, not to survive. I'm homeless, not hopeless. I've got a plan.
Being without a legal address means that you're homeless. In this society, you are completely cut off from doing anything if you have no legal address.
I can break it down perfectly for you. So I'm one of the many Americans struggling with homelessness. I live in a vehicle that was made in 1996. I live on the side of the road, and I live in parking lots from time to time. When I can, I stay at campground. But this was obviously not my first choice of living. At the time I became homeless, I was 22. My grandma had just passed away. I had applied to 6 different apartments, and I got denied at every place because I didn't have renter's history or credit yet. Because like I said, at the time I was 22, I never rented before, and I never built credit. So after being denied multiple times, I did have to stay in motels, and my money was going fast on nights at motels. Plus, the motels weren't super clean or safe, and I have 2 cats. Well, I have 3 cats, but at the time when I first became homeless, I did have 2 cats. Now, the answer that you want, I have. You're wondering why they are doing this, and you're wondering why we are not fighting back. Slavery never stopped, it just evolved. The government requires you to be a slave to them in order to rent an apartment. You could have money. You could have, for example, $10,000 cash, but you still will not be able to get a place to live unless you have proof that you have been a slave to the system, pay stubs, bank statements, proof that you work a certain amount of hours. If you are not making money for the government, then they don't want you. They don't want to help you, and they see you as a burden. The system is set up for rich families. If I had a cosigner, I would be able to get a place to live, but I had no family or friends to cosign for me, so I've just been navigating this kind of by myself, and I spent my life savings on this vehicle so that I didn't have to sleep in my car or outside in the park. But the government doesn't believe you guys will fight back, and they're trying to make you so tired that you won't fight back, or you will become so rageful and you won't think straight, so you'll get yourself in legal trouble, and then once you get locked away, you can legally be used as a slave. It says it in our amendments. When you get arrested, you can be used as a slave, like legally. It says it in our amendments in very little font. So at the end of the day, it's all about the elites using the middle class and the poor as their workhorses. I always try to tell people you will never get rich working a 9-to-5 job because the rich never got rich that way. The rich are telling you guys, go work a 9-to-5 job and you will be like us. But they really got their money from generational wealth, slavery, funding wars. The reason inflation happened and you guys need to be making more money for your rent and for your gas is because they're giving money to the wars, because the rich elites of our country make money by funding wars, by trading missiles and trading weapons and stuff. So that's why they need you guys to work extra hard for them right now, because you guys are helping funding the war. Meanwhile, many of you are getting angry, rageful, getting yourself in legal trouble because you're tired, you're exhausted. You're needing to depend more on health care because you're sick now and you're getting overworked. No humans should be working this much. Never in history have we before. The funniest thing is, right now I'm homeless living on the side of the road, but I'm making more money than my grandma was, or my grandparents, my mother, like back in the day. Their rent was like $300, but they're going to tell us that they worked just as hard as us and that we're the bums and we're lazy because they're not going to own up to the mess that they made. And they don't care anyways because they're not going to be on Earth for much longer. So we're going to be the ones to deal with it, and then our children. But you guys just have to realize it's about slavery. It's about power and control. It's about feeding the elites, feeding the rich. They don't care what happens to you. They see you as ants. If you pass away, they will replace you with a new employee. They really don't care. You're just money. You make money for them, and they even say money doesn't exist. It's just meant to control you because they know money doesn't exist. They trade numbers. They do not trade money. Money is paper. It's a made-up thing to control the middle class and the poor so that you guys stay in your lane. So you can keep getting angry like this, but that's not going to do anything. You have to become brave. Stop depending on the government. They control you with fear because they think that you need them. They took away our human instincts, so you don't think you can hunt for food or make your own house, but you think you can make money to pay somebody to do it for you. And that's where they have you, because you don't know how to be self-sustainable anymore, and you need to rely and depend on them. When at the end of the day, we have trees we can go cut down and build our houses. We know how to build a fire. I grew up in a town where hunting is a thing every season. We hunt for deer and turkeys. But they have you fooled thinking that giving away $2,000 every 30 days is winning. When at the end of the day, not paying rent is winning, dude. I don't pay rent. Literally, I've never paid rent in my entire life. I tried, but they didn't want me to because I didn't qualify. So now I've been learning how to live in different ways without the government. And they hate me for that. But in these next couple of years, you're going to see van life, RVs, trailers all over the place because some people want to be free. For the little time that we have on Earth, we don't want to be working our young lives away for corporations that don't care about us. At the end of the day, people need to stop paying rent and fueling the rich and the elites, but that's not going to happen. So, you know, get it how you live it while you're on Earth. Try to enjoy your time while you're here, and just try to wake up to the fact that money and material items really aren't all that.
So I've been tearing this place up, and then on top of it, you know, I got all in disarray, moving stuff out to the trailer and everything like that. Well, then when I was getting the card out of the card reader on the computer, you know, the card that's how I download the videos. As I was getting the card out of the card reader, I was standing up, dropped it, man, looked down, and swear I seen it hit my shoe, and then it shot into this pile of junk under the desk, and I've completely moved it, and I cannot find that card. So then I had to go through, man, and man, I was trying different cards, and this one won't work. I don't know what it's for, you know, I'm not all techie. I could get Miss Kitty over here and redo so the card works, but I ended up finding one. I still haven't found it. So anyway, you know, the videos, anytime that I share these clips, you know, I'm just sharing what other folks are saying, and that is, I'm not always in agreement, you know, I don't always agree with everything they say, but everything that I do say, you know, people's opinions and stuff like that, man, I always take, you know, everybody's opinions and everything like that. You know, I just want that. Yeah, 'cause, you know, I'll get some comment, oh man, this, blah, 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 you know, about something that somebody else said or what. I'm not saying it, man. You know, these are just the things, and the ones that I put together, which I was actually planning on putting together. Man, I watched a bunch this morning, and I have more on my list. So I was planning on doing more, but man, it's getting late in the day, and then I've got to get all this. I got to get this stuff out to that trailer, and then we were actually taking off early in the morning to go down and get the oil changed on Miss Kitty's car, you know, all the way down the flatlands. So, man, I've got to get this place. Right now, I can't even walk through here, man. So I've got to get that taken care of. So I just kind of, you know, no, I guess we got 15, 20 minutes, not too bad. But, you know, just everything going on, man. And, you know, I didn't put a lot of the ones, man, of people, of folks, you know, man, men and women, man, in tears or almost in tears, you know, that they can't, you know, make enough money, or they ain't got enough credit or whatever. You know, I guess you have to have, your credit's got to be good or whatever to get in. You know, I know nothing about apartments, man. You know, I've never had an apartment. I don't think I lived in a studio one time, studio apartment, but it was just an old house turned into a bunch of different things. That was way back. You know, that was BK, man, before Kitty. Which, in between Kitty. But anyway, all that, man, it's heartbreaking, man. It just breaks my heart for some of these people. Man, the last gal, you know, the one that was 22 years old or whatever, got that motorhome and all that. You know, some of the things she said, man, you're just like, yeah, she's got a good, you know, good point on some stuff, man. And this, like I said, this isn't even the tip of the iceberg, man. There is so much. Y'all be careful out there. Watch your top knot. And watch your six. And hope and pray, man. you know, I think a lot of it, man, especially in some of these, man, when I watch 22 years old, man, that's you know, she's in between my, my oldest granddaughter's 15 or 16 now. So, I mean, just a little bit older than, you know, my grandkids. So, man, I just look at this and it just breaks my heart for these kids. And, man, it ain't going to get no better for them either. If something don't change, man, I think something's going to change. And I think it's going to not be for the better. I don't know. Do you know? I wish somebody knew. Good Lord willing, them creeks don't rise. We'll be back again tomorrow. See ya.